in sports family. Also, go to all social media platforms. Link will be in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Thank you. Welcome to another episode of Matchmaker, man. Appreciate y'all being on. I got a special guest today. Um, today we're gonna learn a little bit more about FU Falcons United history, and we're gonna get into it. Hopefully y'all enjoy this one because it's gonna be very informative. So we're gonna bring my guest on right now. So without further ado, hey, what's up, Coach? How you doing?
How you doing, Ken? Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Man, thank you. Thank you for coming on. So we got a lot to talk about. We want to talk about the history of FU. We want to talk about the expectations and just basically trying to rate them amongst the other team that you had for your organization and stuff like that. But go ahead and introduce yourself for those who don't know.
Well, I'm Coach Chris. I guess I'm the Reggie Walker is the head coach, and then everybody knows Coach B. But I guess I'm kind of the general manager. Started out at Welcome All Park with Welcome All Blue, and left there probably 4 or 5 years ago, and with Coach John, Reggie, Coach B, we kind of got Falcons United started. So.
Okay, so when you started, what was the vision, and from then and now, how did it come to pass or come to fruition? So yeah, just speak to that. The vision of FU when you first created the organization.
Well, we had we had been at Welcome All Park playing baseball, basketball, and football since they were 5 or 6 years old. So we all the vision was always to mold them into well-rounded athletes, well-rounded young men and women, um, and that's still kind of our focus. You know, we held our group together for a lot of years. Then when we Coach Rick, Coach E, uh, when we left Welcome All Park and started Falcons United, we got with them. So then we started adding more kids, and we became more competitive, playing a little bit more on a national level. Even though we did some national stuff at Welcome All Park, we really started doing some stuff on a national level, and FU became kind of a national brand. But we always knew at one point, our worst fear was that our kids wouldn't be ready mentally and physically, socially to head into high school. So that's kind of our main focus, and it's still our focus is to make sure that they're ready for high school. A lot of these kids that we have now have made the transition from kids playing football to student athletes. So we're just here to shepherd and just make sure that they're ready to roll. Just give them a great. This is the last run for them as youth football players. So have a good run for them. Have them ready football wise to go into whatever high school they're going into and be ready to go.
Yeah. Hey, Coach. I also got another guest that's on. He would love to ask some questions, man. This a gentleman, that I met, man. He's a great dude. I think he would like to ask some questions too. So I'm gonna bring him on along with you. But the
Okay.
interview is solely is based on you. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
I think he want to ask you some questions as well. So I'm
Okay.
gonna get ready to bring him on.
All right.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Hey, man, where you been?
Working hard, man. Working
Hey,
hard.
before I go, I feel like I gotta jump you into this conversation. Hey,
Okay.
Coach, this is one of the fellas that kind of picked against y'all. He
Oh,
he
y'all an
said,
apology, coach.
yeah,
Hey, don't no apology necessary.
I was sleep. I was sleeping hard.
yeah,
You
I tried to tell him, Coach. I tried to tell him, the 13U, I say all the way down to like the 10U,
know,
to like Lambo's age group, like that's the age group that I'm familiar with.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I knew what was gonna be the outcome, and I knew with the additions that you guys had added you know what I'm saying, just basically put y'all over the edge. So my guy, he was a little misinformed off his decision. You
Right,
know, I
right.
told him I wasn't gonna let him just live. You know what I'm saying, with his pick. You know, I had to let you know that. But go ahead, man. Introduce yourself to Coach Sports Fanatic.
How you doing, Coach? I'm Sports Fanatic, and yes, he did. He told me. He told me. He told me. And I just said, I don't know, man. I done seen Lauderdale play a few teams. That speed is unmatched, right? But I was wrong, man. Y'all wear teams down, man.
Yeah, well, really, what it really boils down to is if FU had a stood pat and did what we always do, we would be in the conversation with Lauderhill, uh, uh, Island's Best, the teams out of Texas. We would still be in that conversation, but not just us. But the conversation, East Metro, Coach Benz and his crew, they would have been in the conversation. Just the same. So there's several teams here that would have been in the conversation. So what people don't realize now is that all of those kids, all the top kids, not all the top kids in the area, because there's some other kids out there that could definitely play for us. But Waylon, Big Tim, Adrian, Eli from East Metro, those kids that we've been playing against for years, they're over here now. Kids from Tucker. You got Maddox over here. And you add those kids. You got DT's old quarterback, who we've moved to wide receiver, 6'4", phenomenal athlete. He's over here doing his thing now. So, it's all right to pick against us, but you're really picking against our history. The fact that I think last year we had 5 teams in one league in one area that were at some point reigning in the top 5 in the country. So now, we've had our kind of pick of those kids, and like again, the Moonies are out there. There's still several kids. Cassius Burke. There's Little Ricky. There's several kids that aren't playing with us, but we're really not playing youth football anymore at this point. These kids are, they're student athletes, and they're football players, and they're focused. The first practice, I went down there and it was just a different vibe. We still had our foundation, but these kids are about their business. Hercules, you see the result on the field, but that kid works. Batman works. Christian Wales works. KJ works. These kids are not, they're not playing, and it's a lot of, it looks like a high school team. High school coaches walk up on us, and it's so I'm not disrespecting anything that anybody else is out there doing. I have a lot of respect for a lot of people coming up and playing the way that they play. But if you have, if you're hiding kids on offense or defense, or if you're playing 6 and 7 kids both ways, if your kids don't look like they in a position that they're gonna play in high school, then it's going to be tough on you. It's going to be tough on you against this. Then you boil that all down, and then you got Hayes McGinnis in the building. So it's just it's a special thing to see. It's sometimes we just look at each other. I'm not going to name the high school coach, but he's out there and he just looks at me and shakes his head. The talent is unbelievable. Your starting left tackle is 6'4", 275. Offensive line average is 260, and they got great bodies. I mean, these kids are ready to go. They look like a good high school football team.
Well, yeah, just go ahead, Sports Fanatic. Let them know what you was thinking in the process of why you actually picked against them.
Right. So, I had seen Lauderhill a lot.
Right.
I had seen them play a lot of games, and I'm just like, man, that speed that they have on Lauderhill, the running back they have, the blocking scheme, right? It was just, I was like, man, Lauderhill, they're just too explosive, right? And I just hadn't seen enough Falcons United. So I was just like, I just haven't seen enough. They too tested. But
Well,
man.
That kid is incredible. He reminds me of Chris Johnson, just a fantastic kid, humble kid. He broke a couple against us, but when he stands next to me, he's probably 5'8", 5'9", 140, 145.
Yeah.
Our linebackers, DJ is 6'4", 190. Adrian is 6'2", close to 200 pounds. Cody is probably 5'10", probably 205. And that kid can fly, but he's not running off and leaving those kids. You got Big Waylon in the middle. Big Waylon will play. Big Waylon will play next year on whatever high school he goes to. He's gonna play.
Right.
And it's not on the JV. It's not on the middle team. So uh, I saw a video from when DJ. They were talking about the speed, and we understand the speed and we get that. But he put it. It was so apropos. He's just like, they're fast, but we're big and fast.
Too big. And let me ask you a question, Coach. How do you manage? How do you manage all that spectacular talent you got on the team? Does it come with egos, or how do you do that?
Hey, fix your mic. Fix your mic.
It comes with some egos because they're kids. They all of them played at a high level, but the whenever we get a new kid, when Maddox came over, he fits right in because it's the respect. Maddox, we've been trying to control Maddox for excuse my language, but 6 or 7 years. He's been doing the same thing with us. We've been trying to control Hurt for 6 or 7 years. So the respect when Hayes McGinnis first meets Hurt, it's just all respect. So they understand the goal. When we talk to college coaches, when we talk to high school coaches, we talk about all of them. They can all play. I get on the group sometimes and mess around, but people are putting up 1 kid, 2 kids. You can't stop three kids. I got 30 kids. I got 30 kids that colleges are already interested in.
Yeah. So, hey, Coach. So last season y'all started off, I believe, around like 0-4, right? And y'all didn't have. I guess y'all didn't have the best start, right? But you guys, at the end of the season, y'all turned it on, and you guys actually won the conference, the championship for the conference, and then y'all ended up winning state. What do you feel like is different, and how do you avoid? Because y'all went to the YNC and y'all fell short.
Mm-hmm.
How do you avoid falling short again? What is the state of mind that you guys are putting the kids in to avoid making that mistake when it comes to playing in the YNC?
I'll speak to last year a little bit. We I think we put in a new offense last year, so we got off to a bumpy start in the preseason. We won a few games, and then it's easy to see that Hayes McGinnis is not out there. That's the easy thing to see, but you don't see that you're probably missing 8 or 9, 10 other kids every week. So, and it's not, we don't feel compelled to go online and say we're down 10 kids, so that's the reason. We just show up and play. We don't avoid any games. We just go and play. And there was good things that we were doing in those losses. When we lost to RDU with Roscoe at quarterback, I kind of knew that I knew we would be okay then. But it's hard to get the culture, your new parents to realize that we've lost 4 games in a row and everything is going to be okay. But I knew when we got Hayes back, when we got everybody else back, then when we were able to move Roscoe back to receiver, when we were able to get some of the other defenders and stuff healthy and ready to go, I figured we'd be all right. And as to this year with this team, we talk about playing to a standard every practice. I know they're sick of me talking about play to a standard. Be who you are. At this point, we don't feel like it matters what they're doing in the other locker room. We don't feel like, what happened on your practice field, what's happening on your sideline. It doesn't really make a difference. And I don't mean that to sound cocky, but it doesn't make the talent level that we have. If you're big FU, it doesn't really matter what the other team does.
They got that talent though, Coach, right? But I asked them a question that was still kind of tough for them to answer. I said, would this team and this group of talent that y'all have now, would you guys be able to beat a rare breed 13U?
Oof. That's a tough question. That's a great team, and you see those kids. Those kids have stepped right into. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, those kids off of that team have stepped into some pretty powerful high schools and are playing well. They're at the Bufords and Graysons of the world. So that's a I don't. I think I'm on. I ain't gonna touch that right now. But I tell you what, we'd line up and play, and they would fill us a little bit. And I think that you know people Hayes McGinnis, for all the accolades he gets. Everybody knows Hayes. That kid is an unbelievable leader. So if Hayes McGinnis is with us, then I kind of like our chances. There's had some great teams. There's been some great teams around, and we respect that. But we respect what we're doing and think that we can play with anybody.
Right. Coach Green, he says Big Mark a great coach. He said you can't take nothing away from that team. So no, I like how respectful everybody been, of that team because I know I've asked this question before and teams it's like, oh yeah, we would have beat them. So okay.
I mean, you can't really say that. I mean, I'm at the end of the day, I'm an Atlanta youth football guy. So, Mark, he does a great job over there. But we would show up and we would be ready to go. I'll just leave it at that. So,
I got one for you, Coach.
yes, sir.
How do you balance that amazing passing ability y'all have with your running ability?
It's just it's not either or. It's congruent. You're doing it together. Herc, Braden. We know everybody knows Herc, but you got and Herc is in the best running back in the country conversation, no doubt. But you got Maddox, you got Aiden, you got Braden. So once those guys get going, it opens it up for Roscoe. It opens it up for Batman, for Malachi Speed. So these kids they're playing football the way that it's supposed to be played. They understand that. With our offensive line, we know if we get them to eating with the run game, then it's gonna be a party before long. It's not gonna be it'll be 50, 60 points. It's just it all goes together. Just like any team with a great quarterback, sometimes we kind of reel in throwing the ball too much. I thought against Lauderhill, Coach B did a fantastic job, but we were talking about let's make sure we don't, get away from the run too much. When you got a line like we have, and our line just played phenomenal. So it all goes together. If we can run the ball, that helps the rest of the defense. And those kids completely understand that. It's Batman. If he's not scoring, he's blocking the heck out of somebody. If we're not, if Herc, the thing about Herc that I didn't realize till I got around him is Herc is a great football player. He's not just Herc blocks well. He carries out his face. We don't have to coach that into those kids because Pimp and the Vikings did a fantastic job with those kids. So those kids understand football. They're playing at a high level. It's not, we're not throwing jump balls. We're running offense, and offense is all inclusive of running the ball, throwing it downfield. We got Christian Wales and you got 5-1. You got to get your screen game going. So it keeps the defense off balance. It keeps a youth defense off balance when you have to face Hayes McGinnis and all those weapons. It's just when we're running on all cylinders, it's just we do a lot of shaking of the heads in practice. Because it's just been amazing to watch.
All right, so Coach,
Yes, sir.
you guys have a lot of players. I'm pretty sure that a lot of teams want right at different schools.
Yes.
So how do you guys kind of shape who goes where? Meaning that one particular person might fit for a different system, far as for what the team run. Because, like for instance, one of the team. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. I can't.
Okay. So one of the teams might be geared just towards passing. So it
Mhm.
might not be as beneficial for a Hercules to go there. One team might be like I said, like that's not passing, maybe for the run, but it might not be good for a Roscoe or a Batman to play on defense. How do you guys determine
Well,
or prepare the kids, for what high school they should go to?
well, just like the kids are ready, they're ready to roll. We have a well-educated group of parents. So these kids have been they've been recruited for, just because they're here, this didn't start the recruitment of them. Waylon and Tim, everybody has wanted them for a while. So we're here to support the parents, support them where they need us to support them. Some kids need a little more support, so we do that. We talk to college coaches on their behalf. We make sure we put them in position to be seen. We've camped at Georgia. Some of them have been to Alabama. So this, I can't sit here and take credit for that. We're placing kids. The parents, they do a great job. These are kids who have been born to compete players of the year. And me and Alex was talking about it the other day, and I think since they were 5 or 6, I think it's maybe been one award that he's given out that's not on our sideline. So it's just a different group of kids. These kids are, they're talking about wanting to play at Alabama. When they're flashing the gloves and whatnot, they're just not flashing it. They're talking to Alabama. We're getting calls from certain teams, and we got kids with offers. They take bus trips here and there. So we're there to support them in any way, form or fashion that the parents need. And the majority of them do a great job with their kids. Like I say, these kids have, they're not kids playing football. They're student athletes. They understand about taking care of their bodies. They understand about how to talk to, we're visiting high schools. We were at Westlake last week and talking about body language, and you're here. The coach wants to see energy, so we help them in that regard. But several of the parents do a great job with that. So we can't take full credit for it. We reach out on their behalf, but the group of parents is phenomenal. The group of coaches is phenomenal. It's I just need to really ride my cart around and just do what I do and just kind of stay out of the way. But the parents do a great job. Coach B is really good. He's really locked in. Coach Bat is really locked in. So we just try to be there to support the kids in any way we can.
Coach, I asked the majority of your players. I think Georgia is going to be the whole entire Falcons United. I
Well,
think UGA is going to be the entire Falcons United.
well, we took 14, 15. We had a couple of kids go down, and then it was like, well, who are they with? And then so we kind of got a request to bring who we thought can play. So we took 14 or 15 of them down there, and that's an example of putting them in good situations, and they performed well. So it wouldn't surprise me if a few of them did wind up down in Georgia or Alabama, because they performed well down there. When you see the things that some of these kids can do, and there's kids around the country that can do it. So it's just not our team, but it's kind of focused here in Atlanta. We have been thankful to, like I say, there's some other kids out there that can play, some kids that can really play, but to get this group of kids on one practice field, one game field, on a ongoing basis has been amazing, and it feeds on itself. So. They knew when we went to Georgia, they knew some of the kids. But then when Kelsey walks by at 6'4", 275, they want to know who Kelsey is. So there's some coaches that stop the conversation that they're having to see who that guy is. So it's all just feeding on itself, and it just goes back to the question about offense and defense. It just feeds on itself. It just it just becomes a big FU party. So.
I got one for you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Even with my man at the 6'4", 275, your players seem so well in shape.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing over there to keep these linemen so well in shape, so mobile?
Yeah.
If you just give us a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit.
Yeah, well, like I say, a lot of them, it's, Rylan, Rylan invites kids to number 50 is Rylan. He and his dad invite linemen specifically to work out when we're not practicing. So a lot of them have trainers. You know, Tim, I know he's been trained. They work on their craft. And then when we get them in practice, David Jacobs he does a great job of integrating physical fitness into what we're doing. We move pretty fast in practice, and the kids, they have great bodies. They're not, it's not an offensive line that when we go out on offense, it's not like Batman them take off and Roscoe takes off and Amari takes off. They're all athletes, so it's just they're big athletes. They talk about, we talk to them about eating. We talk to them about taking care of your body. So it's I'd like to sit here and take full credit for all of it, but they came from day one. They were ready to go.
Hey, Coach Green said he said running the hell out of them. So that answers your question, Sports Fanatic.
And on that note, I know that's cash. So we had 7 unsportsmanlike penalties Saturday. So there will be some running of the shit out of them when we get them all in one place.
Hey, Coach, do you feel like y'all even had like the best game last Saturday when y'all played against Lauderhill Lions? I feel like a lot was left on the table.
It's sometimes when that happens, when you got R1 back there, it looks that way. Those kids came up and played a hell of a game. They gave a great effort. A lot of them were going both ways. There were some adjustments that had to be made to contain him. There were some things they did with their man-to-man defense that we hadn't seen it this year. So there were some things that they did. We didn't feel like we had our best game, but I think part of it was because of them. So I'm not going to those kids came up here and did what they did, so I'm not going to discredit what they did or saying that we played sloppy and that was the reason But I think that going forward, we'll clean those things up, and I think we'll be sharp from here on out.
Coach, what are some of the teams that you feel like can compete with you if you feel like there is any teams that
This is
Something wrong with you. Hold on 1 second. So could you go out and come in because something is clipping.
All right.
to me or
Nah, it's for Sports Fanatic.
okay.
But yeah, man, get back to it. So I'll say this. It sounds like mine just clipping too. You hear some clipping, Coach?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Y'all the professionals. What's all that clicking going on over there?
Man, I don't know, man. Like I say, when you got a lot of information on online, man, sometimes they try to deter you to get it out. So
Right.
that's how I look at it. But so based on the remaining schedule, what do you feel like your chances are of going undefeated? And if you're not looking that far, what are you looking for, as far as for your team for the next game?
Our goal is to, with what we have, if the coaches stay out of the way, we should definitely go undefeated. And our goal is to, our goal is to teach them good football on a weekly basis, have them ready for high school. But make no mistake, our goal is to go to Florida and get that championship for Metro Atlanta. This is these kids have been beating on each other for years and years and years. I mean, there have been some wars that we've had against each other. So now we're all together. So the goal is to go down to wherever it is in Florida and get that thing and bring it back to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. So, based on like the information that you gave so far, do you feel like you guys have prepared them, well enough for the next phase, the next level? And if not, what do you feel like you have to work on?
I think we do. You have several of our coaches that played in played college and some pro ball or whatnot. So we know what it looks. We know what it's supposed to look like. So long as practice, and we're practicing at a high school right now, so they see what it's supposed to look like. So
Mm-hmm.
when they're going off, we're coming on. So you see the effort that those kids put in, going through practice and then getting your conditioning in, so they understand that. I think the main thing that we preach and that we believe in is getting them to play to their level, uh, on and off the field. Get them to understand that they're going to be a little different because they're student athletes. Prepare them in all regards. Be careful what you say on social media. Be careful what you're doing in class. Be a great young man. Be a good son, a good brother, a good uncle. So I'm not going to say improve on those things, but we're going to continue to drip on those things and make sure that it's at the forefront. I know they're sick of me at the end of practice talking about play to your level. We talk about Alabama does it, Georgia does it, so FU needs to do it. Ohio State does it. So we feel that in our arena that we're that type of team.
Coach, I already know they know that speech because they told it. They said the speech before you actually started,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then at the end of the game, when you started the speech, you said exactly what they said verbatim.
yeah.
I literally was laughing at that. So yes, they definitely get the message, which is good, because that shows that they're listening to what it is that you're saying, and that you drilled it in their head so much that it's hard for them not to even remember, the stuff that you're saying.
Well,
So
it's the I'm not gonna say it's the missing piece, but it's hard to look at DJ and already 6'4" and runs like a deer. He has it physically. The small things. You got to take care of. You take care of those things along the way, and then you get to winning at life or winning is just a culmination of a bunch of little steps. So I, all the coaches do a great job, but that's usually after they've had a practice. I really, literally don't think we've had a bad practice. So it's usually not a lot to say because they're so competitive. So they compete against each other. They want to outdo each other. So practices are, I'm not gonna say I'm making up stuff to say, but usually that's along those lines is what they need. We've got a call from a parent, or we've got a call from somebody that you didn't do what you're supposed to do in school. You need to start managing yourself accordingly now. If you're telling me you want to play at Georgia, if you want to play at Alabama, you got to do these small things. Because as good as some of these kids are, it's a lot of players in the United States. So if you're not doing this little stuff, they'll move right on to the next kid. Don't make that an option for the coach. Make the coach have to look for a reason to disregard you as a player. Don't take care of your books. Be respectful. Take care of your body and be a student athlete. So we're really just preaching that, to be honest.
yeah, and a lot of stuff that you said, man, was some of the sentiments that was told to me by some of these scouts, the recruiter, because I was talking to some scouts, which I am going to bring on here, but they
Mm-hmm.
were expressing the same sentiments. When they out there looking at these kids, they want to see the mannerism, they want to see the parents, and one of the things that they convey to me that sometimes, man, they decommit from a player, if they see that they got a wrong mentality, wrong
Yeah.
mindset, and if they see a parent, that's just out of control, they'll decommit quick. They
Yeah.
even gave an example of one player that they decommitted from, that was a 5-star player, but they was like they want people, what I'm saying, who's being taught the right way.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with the drama aspect.
You know,
So a
they
lot
don't.
of the
These
sentiment that
schools,
you say is accurate.
these schools, when we were at Georgia, we got a private tour. So we talk to them and tell them they're watching your social media. But for them to go down to Georgia and see grad assistants sitting in a room monitoring your social media, not just one cat monitoring it, 5 or 6. That's their job, is to monitor. If they're coming to Westlake or Grayson or Langston Hughes or Creekside to see a kid, that whoever's coming to visit they're gonna go to those GAs, and have you found anything that's kind of off on the social media? they're going to do those things, because, unlike myself and some of our coaches, I don't really make my living doing this. When you make millions of dollars and you're depending on a 17, 16, 18-year-old kid to help you keep making those millions of dollars, they're going to go through with a fine tooth comb. When they come to your high school, they're going to talk to your teachers. They're going to talk to the janitor. They're going to try to find out what type of kid you are, what type of cat you are, because it's an investment in those players. So that's what they're going to be faced with. So we're preaching that now. This is pre-high school for us, and not pre-high school at any high school. This is what we think it's going to look like for them at top-notch high schools here in Georgia.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I definitely agree, man. I'm actually glad that you started preaching that, because that's very important, And then not only that though,
I love preaching, Coach. They get tired of me preaching.
Hey, Coach. But most importantly, honestly, when we look at it, the other aspect of it, why it's important is if you plan on getting endorsements. So now the thing that they have is the NIL, right? I'm not saying focus on the NIL, but focus on your characteristic and keeping your hands clean so you can be equipped for getting these endorsements, and not just that, for them to represent you, as far as for representing their product. A lot of times, the kids, if they're not, well equipped far as speaking, which is why another reason why I decided to create this platform, so I can give them a platform to where they can learn how to speak publicly and have some sort of practice. So once they get to that level, they will actually have some sort of experience, right, of talking in the public. So the thing that they have to make sure that the reason why they have to stay straight is they will be like, if they are clean cut, basically they're putting themselves in a position to get endorsements, to get all these other accolades that come with being an elite player and stuff like that. If you're not somebody that's going to represent their brand the right way, then you're basically leaving so much money on the table, right? Not to say that it's all about money, but at the same time, it is about the money. You know what I'm saying? Because the colleges are making billions of dollars, and you just need your cut, your percentage, and your share. So get what's due to you. But go ahead, Coach.
I mean, it just all goes to just being a standard. If you're functioning at a high standard, people are going to want you to be attached to their products. High standard in classroom. You got a good GPA. That makes coaches want you. If you're a 4 or 5 star and you making good grades, that's just another feather in your cap. So be great everywhere. We talk about being great everywhere. Take every opportunity. I tell them all the time, it's easy to do wrong. Try doing everything right for 24 hours. Drive speed limit. Wake up on time. It's so no one's perfect, but just aspire to a higher level. Because we think these kids are special, so you got to start thinking about off the field, because these are kids that you're going to hear about on Saturdays, and some of them are generational talents. So you're going to hear about a few of them on Sundays. So you might as well holistically start getting ready for it. And it's tough. It's tough as 13 years old to we also preach to them about, we like to have fun. I like to cut up, but as an athlete, you have to compartmentalize. You have to know when to have a little fun, know when to work, know when to have a little fun, know when to work. So we try to, it's hard to work and play at the same time. So we try to get them to lock in, when we look around and we start talking about lock in, we expect you to lock in. Let's get through this game, and then we'll have some more fun.
I wanted to read this from Cash Green. She says, is that a male or a woman? I mean, male or female?
Cash Green.
Okay. All right. So it says, we are definitely educated and know what to ask and what we are looking for when talking to coaches and making a decision on schools. Our coaches make sure we are well informed, and they are a call away. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that support system because most kids need it. They don't have it, and I keep telling people about playing for coaches that only care about you while you're playing for them. They're not looking for your future, and that's why I wanted to. That's another reason why I wanted to create this platform. So if they don't know something, then they can either ask me. If I don't know, I get somebody on here that can answer that question for you, because
Right.
that's what it's about, giving the right information and giving kids the knowledge and the know-how of creating the opportunity for themselves. If they plan for a coach that's not bringing in any recruits, at least they know what to do
Mm-hmm.
to try to reach out to those same organizations to be looked at and stuff like that. So all that stuff is important. But go ahead, coach.
I think and myself and Reggie and Tanisha, Cachet, uh, Marcy, Speed. It's just we FU had never fell apart because we were rooted and grounded in those fundamentals. We're not gonna if we're not gonna take a holistic approach to managing your son as a football player, then why are we doing it? I've played all the football I'm going to play. So, I think one of my jobs and Coach Reggie is Coach Reggie is a guy to give you the shirt off his back. We go, when they were little, we went in these schools. If we got a call from the parents, if we could jump in our vehicle and go, we would go and see about the kids. So that's just a thing. That's part of it. You have to have them ready to play football, ready to play ready to play life. Ready to be. We want them to be good husbands. I have daughters. I want these kids to be good husbands. So it's all part of it. As when you're taking 8 or 9 kids home after practice and stuff, you're tired and you're weary, but that's what we signed up for. So that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say with this group of kids right here, it is almost scary at how they conduct their business. I text Adrian's father from time to time. The way that kid conducts his business is just, sometimes I watch him come down the hill, go do his stretching. He's not ambling down the hill. He has his shoulder pads on, and it's a lot of those kids like that. They're ready, they're ready to go. So we don't have to do as much of that, but we're here, just like Cashy say, if need be, we're here for it. So, but they've all done a great job with their kids, and Ben's, Brandon, there's some good coaches. DT, we have some of his kids. Those kids are ready to play. They're ready to go. They understand what type of talents they are. So they're 13-year-old kids. So if you don't see them and you don't hear them, you better go looking for them. But all in all, they're good kids, and they're really trying to play at the next level. They're trying to be good. So we're here to support that.
I'm looking in the chat, and Trap G-Way, you're a smart man. I'm telling you that for not giving your jersey number, because he's talking a whole bunch of mess in this chat. Respectfully, honestly,
Right.
that's the way we do it. I allow them to say what they want, in a respectful way. But he feel like they're gonna get the job done, which is, you're supposed to think that way.
Who is
But
he with? Who is he with?
With the Raiders. He's with the Raiders. I believe that y'all play them next week. If not this week, next week.
Okay, yeah.
So this week y'all play the Chiefs, right? Or what is the SRT? Y'all play.
No, that's next week. We play. Shit, I have to look at the schedule. I forget, but you believe in yourself, so we'll show up and be ready to play. So I'll just leave it at that.
Right. I'm just saying he's a smart person for not giving his jersey number.
right.
I'll tell you that. He said, Carter says, you've been in here the last 2 days spamming, bro. We're not worried about y'all.
That's your guy, Carter. That's our guy.
Yeah, that's my dude right there, man. Yeah, Carter is my guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I had a chance to speak to Christian yesterday.
Right.
Man, I guess I was the only one that didn't know about this kid, because to me, this kid got the goods, number
Yeah.
5. Because
Yeah.
I asked the question. I said, man, who is number 5? That person is very underrated, because like this person is doing damage, but I never really hear his name. So I got acquainted with him, and yeah, he definitely belonged in
Yeah.
that
He
conversation. Y'all got some legit kids, and I think that the mindset is the right mindset, because like I was speaking to KJ yesterday, when he was he was just a little bit upset, and he didn't take it out on his teammates. He took it out on the quarterback, and he took it out on that running back. So I was like, that's effective aggression. That's something that all young men need, to be able to get their aggression out the right way. So I definitely commend him, for keeping his composure on the sideline, and and utilizing his aggression the way it was supposed to, which was on an opposing team.
Well, KJ is a well composed kid. He's when KJ's, and I'll say this, when he's not leading, we're very disappointed, because KJ is a great leader. So when he's been one of the leaders of our team since we started this Falcons United thing. So that's just what you're seeing is what his mother and what they're putting into him. So I'll say this, and I don't mean for it to be taken the wrong way, but we have the right kids, the right coaches, and the right parents on this team. That's not to knock anybody else's. We took some kids, we didn't take some kids, we thought about taking some kids, but when you got great leaders like that, it's easy. Christian Wells went from a great family. Mother is awesome. He comes in and he fits right in. It's like it's seamless. It's like they've been playing together for years. So, the practices are the sidelines. Me and Reggie talk about the sideline is as calm as it's ever been for us. There's been years, we've been up 40 or 50 to 0 in past years, and the sideline is a mess. So it just goes back to the families, the kids, the coaches are just all doing a fantastic job.
So what in general, because you had a lot of good players, and the league that y'all was in was a really good league.
Mm-hmm.
What make these group of kids special to you?
They've there's been times when all of us, East Metro, Welcome All, Falcons United, have went down to Florida. We went out to this and we just didn't have enough. But it was 5 or 6 teams that didn't quite have enough. We was always shuffling linemen. Somebody didn't have a quarterback. Somebody didn't have the receivers. So it's just now that we're all together, and it goes back to just playing a high level of football from the time they were 5 years old. I remember playing against Pimp and Hercules when we were 6 years old, and Mooney and Country. They were all on the same team. You had Mooney and Herc was on the same team. Dealing with Waylon. I remember one time we were up in Tennessee trying to deal with Waylon, dealing with Adrian. I mean, it's just so they've played against each other for a long time, and they're the level of football that they've been playing since they were 5 or 6 has made them ready for this. They've played at a super high level. Some of these, the rest of the country were looking and it'd be a 6 or 7 game, but it was really a 6 or 7 war.
I've been watching Hercules play for a while. And one of the things that I see in his progression is that now he know how to throw his weight around now.
Yeah.
He knows when to go low. He knows how to get lower than the opponent, and then the fact that they can't grab his legs, he end up punishing the guy. Like I seen so much progression in just his play. And to me, that's scary, because like I don't even know if he's really working out as far as like weights and all that stuff. Just imagine, once he actually get to high school and that become a thing. Because I don't think many people really just go to the weight system. I think it's more of the condition, push-ups and stuff like that. But I'm definitely excited to see, you know, what the future brings for him. And if I gotta say the type of system that he'll fit in, I would definitely say Alabama or like an Arkansas, a team like that. I could see him playing for one of those type of teams.
Yeah, well, Herc is we all see the talent. It's easy to see the talent, but Herc is a great football player. You know, so when you get that much talent in a foot, you know, we have several really good they're just football players. Adrian is a good football player. Royal Walker is a good football player. You know, Old Q, number 4 for us, they're good football players. They run well, tackle well. Herc understands football. He understands why why this cutback was here, or he understands why we should run a little wider outside zone. You know, he understands about blocking schemes. He catches the football well. He's as talented as he is. He's a well-rounded football. Braden is a well-rounded football player. You know, so when you have uber talent and you have that many good football players together, it makes for a really good team, a really good atmosphere. You know, there's some like us. Ryland is a good football player. You know, some of these kids. So we're literally 22. You know, 11 on, 11 off. You know, Elijah Peaks is probably one of the top defensive linemen in the age group, but he's just playing offense for us. He's a good football player. So it's just and getting around these kids. You know, I always suspected that Adrian was a great football player, but being around him, the way he can catch the ball, run the ball, you know, the way he tackles in open field and stuff. So when you're a good football player on top of having a lot of talent, it makes for a special kid.
Definitely. So I'm more so looking forward to seeing, you know, the progression. I'm actually kind of looking ahead to see what high school they're gonna go to. Because like all these young men, I want to definitely keep track of. I think also one of the players that are definitely ready is Hayes. I like everything about, you know, him as quarterback. He ain't afraid to run the ball. He know when to bring the ball down. He know when to pass it. He knows when to just to throw a screen just to get a little bit of yards. He knows when to he just pretty much knows everything there is to know about the game. And then I asked him, are you guys able to do some of the audibles? If you see something in the defense, are you allowed to, make a decision to do an audible, for something that might work a little better towards the defense that they're running? So do you guys give them that leeway, that leisure?
Yeah, and that's one thing. That's kind of a work in progress. So we're trying to give him more leeway and latitude. We down. We gave it to him a couple of times when he was young, and he wouldn't do nothing but throw the damn ball. So that's a joke. But he's a great quarterback. He can make all the throws. He's a great leader, and then it goes back. He comes from a great family. His older brother, Little Mike, was I think a 3-year starter at Noonan High School. Wills is a great baseball player. His dad was a baseball player. Mother's very competitive. So again, you can see the talent with Hayes, but his work ethic, the way he works in practice. When we run our sprints, with all that speed and whatnot out there, Hayes is going. If we run 10 or 15 sprints, he's going to win him 1 or 2. And that's just he's just a tough kid. We should try to get him to get down or slide or get out of bounds. He's just super competitive. So he understands. He's going to be ready wherever he winds up. Because he's going to have the total. He's a very humble kid, very talented kid, and he's a super tough kid. Just that toughness is going. It's going to go a long way for him. And Hayes can get where he needs to get or wants to get on the baseball field or the football field.
And I gotta give my guy credit too. Number 50. I gave him some credit yesterday, last night.
Yeah, Robert.
And, oh my God. When I looked, I was like, this kid did not take no plays off. I just think that honestly, this kid deserved every bit of credit, because even when some of the plays, wasn't working. I mean, this cat played to the whistle blown, and he was just pushing everybody, and it's like nobody can hold him. So to wear players down like number 55 and all that, like that just spoke value to me because number 55 wasn't scared. Some players are just scared, but he wasn't scared. But number 50 took on the challenge, and no matter where he went on the offensive line, he was doing his job. And I want to commend him for that. I feel safe running behind somebody like that who gonna block every down. So like that's the one thing that I like the most, that he didn't take no plays off.
No, it's just effort like that. When we Ryland came from Fairburn, and they do a great job over there. We played against them last year, and we noticed that, and so he wound up coming over here to us, and it's been it's practices like that. So when I'm over there looking at the skills, I mean they're over there getting after each other. Peaks and Denham and Amari, 51 had a good game. Big Kelsey, Zion, those kids they're not, coach has them over there getting after it. So, everything you see in the games is what they're doing in practice. When they're over there working on drive blocking a double team or working on the inside and outside zones, their tracks and all that stuff, they're working. There's not, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and no one's trying to be the weakest link on this team. So it's just a lot of competitiveness. We did one 1v1 yesterday with the wideouts and DBs. It's just a war. You got Maddox over there playing defense, and you got Batman on all. Christian Wells on. It just, it's just feeding on itself. And again, not to knock what anybody else is out there doing, but we feel what we're seeing on a daily basis is something really special. And it's Coach Bat has got the line blocking. Coach B has got the offense going. David Jacobs has the defense. Just they're just hunting. When you look over at your offense, last year or most of our teams that these kids come from, you would have maybe 8, 9, 10 players. When you're on the offensive day, you look over there and the offense looks pretty good, and then you got some other kids that you sprinkled in to play defense in practice. Well, when you got Hercules at running back, and you got DJ at middle linebacker, and you got Cody next to him, and you got Waylon in the middle, and you got Peaks at. I mean, it's just you were asking, you saying you could put together a team to beat us.
Yes,
I think
sir.
I heard that.
Yes, sir. I think so.
Well, you better start with some of these kids for us that don't start.
Now they already on y'all team, so I'm gonna let y'all keep them.
Well, if you're not getting them, then good luck.
Yeah, I know I can put together somebody, a team that definitely do their thing against y'all. Like I got somebody to lock down Batman. I got somebody to lock down Christian.
Coach, stick to hosting. Stick to hosting.
Look, I got somebody. You know what I'm saying? Beast alignment. Like Georgia, they got a lot of good players. That's the one thing that I've noticed about Georgia. Like they have some players. Some of them ain't even playing this year.
No, some of them are just doing middle school. It's
yeah.
I'm joking about it, but there's a lot of great players out there.
Hey, I got Flat Honey Badger in here talking about Cat. Hey, look, see, that's the thing. I think, you know what? I'm gonna put the camera down and I'm gonna come to some of these practices. Just let me coach our team and see how it work out for y'all.
Honey Badger know who I'll get for him.
No, he talk about Cap for me.
Oh yeah, Cap for y'all. Yeah.
Well, we ain't got nobody for Honey Badger.
We'll get his little sister on you too.
I don't see. Hey, look, I ain't seen nobody outwork that young man. Nobody.
But
at such a young age, he doing challenges, water challenges, push-up challenges. Just man, that kid, he got the goods, man. I'm excited to see about his future as well.
Yeah, he was at they were at Falcons United for a year or two, but I knew about him, and I remember when we heard that he was coming. But the most impressive thing about that kid is just the way that he handles his business. You know, you see the talent on the field, but he just has that demeanor. You know, for all that he's done, you know, he could definitely not be humble sometimes. But every time I see that kid, he's humble.
Every time.
Every time. Every single time you see that kid is humble. So it's hard not to, you know, come from a great family. I'm a fan of the family. The mother, the father, they you know, they do a great job with their kids. But Honey Badger is you know, he looks you in the eye, he shakes your hand, he does just a phenomenal young kid. You know, it's easy how, you know, you could look at that and be like, you know, or he's probably got the big head. That kid works, and that kid is super respectful. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the future. So,
and not that we can't leave out the accolades of he got some of the world records too in the track. So
fast kid, tough kid, tough kid.
Yeah, for years to come, you know, I can say that his name would definitely be mentioned for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's my guy, man, and I definitely, like I say, I definitely appreciate Pops as well. You know, so far as with me, he definitely embraced me. He gave me some pointers, gave me some game. You know, so like, you know, I definitely appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't had to tell me nothing. Yeah. But yeah, man. So one of the things that I would definitely like to ask you is, what do you feel like? What do you feel like after this season? What do you feel like you guys are looking to do? Are you looking to start all over? Because I don't think you guys had that many teams this year, right?
No, we didn't have a team, and then there was opportunity to get some teams back, but at that point it was, you know, you know, it was kind of down the road a little bit. So we'll definitely get some of the teams back. We want to be a place to provide opportunity for the main reason that we have Falcons United 13U is we have so many kids in South Fulton that don't have anywhere to play middle school football because we don't have middle school football. And, you know, my son Roscoe doesn't, you know, there's nowhere for him to play middle school football. That, and then some of these kids were so used to playing at such a high level that some of them actually, you know, when they got into middle school, and I'm not knocking any of that, but it was kind of a letdown from what they're used to. So we want to provide, you know, we want to definitely get our teams back, but we also want to provide a place for these kids to come and ply their trade as great football players at the 13U level. I know, you know, I've had some conversations with people that, you know, when they get to that point, we don't really cover them or we focus on middle school football. But with the talent in this city and this area, you know, I think it's worth continuing to have a 13U program. So we're thinking about doing that. We'd like to do that. And this team right here is a 13U team that you have to take notice of. It's just so much talent. You know, the gravity of what we do and the players that we have, you have to notice it. You have to cover it. You have to, you know, you have to be aware of what we're doing. And that's a testament to how talented the kids are, how fundamentally sound some of these families are. So we want to be here to help do that. But we do want to get our teams back at Falcons United, and we will definitely do that. Actually working on that now, some phone calls and whatnot. But
all right, so I see this right here, right? Cash Green told me
Cache,
to let it go.
hang on, Megan. Cache Green.
Cache Green. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been butchering everybody's name. I'm sorry, but Cache Green. All right, so Cache Green, she just made me apply for at least trying to, you know, coach for an all-star game when y'all had an all-star game. I'm gonna show y'all that I really got the goods. It ain't no cap. I really coach. Everything that happened in that game, I already said was gonna happen. I already know. I know schemes. I know all this stuff. So, you know, when I said that, you know, if I can find the right players, I can. She told me to let it go.
Coach.
So at least let me coach an all-star game.
You do a great job at this. And I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Hey, y'all just ain't buying it up. Okay, all right. I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it go.
We here for you, man. We here for you.
Trap G Way, this person is still going on. It said, come see the show at 4 against FU versus Riverdale. So that's the
Yeah,
Riverdale Raiders,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That's what we play them at 4 o'clock on. And we like a good show. We like a good show. I think I saw somewhere where we wasn't posting game times anymore. We were posting show times. So that's good to hear.
He says we gonna beat a team to upset FU this Saturday. Okay, if you say so. If you say so. I'm not saying you can't coach. You won't find better talent than us. I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they got talent. I'm like honestly, I wouldn't know where to find them to be honest. I
Coach,
really wouldn't.
you could
I'm just
definitely
messing
find
around though. What I
you could
say.
find the talent. You could find the talent, and uh, uh, to see the way some of these kids carry themselves, it's a lot to it. There's a lot of talent that's not playing in the NFL.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of talent you know, there's a lot of talent in my hometown that didn't play college football. So you can get that talent, but these FU kids we move to a different vibe. So get you a team and let us know when you're ready.
So let me ask you. I ain't gonna get nobody to beat y'all. I know that.
I'm just messing.
I'm just talking mess. But let me ask you this question: why do you think that like Georgia in particular is like one of the top teams every year?
It's just we have several. It's a lot of reasons, but playing each other, the competition. You know, just for I played college football. My wife ran track. So once you start feeding on that, there's a kid at Langston Hughes. His mother was a basketball player, and his dad was an NFL running back. So that has something to do with just the commitment to football. You go and you see what the Graysons, the Bufords, the Westlakes, the Langston Hugheses, the Creeksides, even what they put into it. So it's a focus. Atlanta, and Atlanta is a little different because they like that in baseball, basketball, and football. It's whenever we can get the majority of our best kids together at any age group, at any sport, then it's going to be Georgia boys. So we like us against anybody, and I think we like us against anybody in every age group. 13 on down. But it's just these kids have been playing high level athletics for a long time. The kind of part of the way that we got Hayes McGinnis is I ran into Mike McGinnis at a baseball tournament in Florida that Roscoe was playing in. So they've been competing against each other, playing with each other. So it just feeds itself. A lot of good coaches.
And I got a question. I got a question. So with with all the talent that y'all have, right? How is it, is it week by week? Is it somebody already have their position secured, or is it whoever performed the best that week? Is it like that?
I think it's a little bit of both. With middle school ball, we understand that there's going to be some workarounds with middle school ball, and so you have injuries, you have schemes, so it's just kind of a little bit of everything. One kid we know going to be out there is Hayes, but it's just kind of a little. That was another joke. So, but it's kind of a little bit of both. If a kid is playing well, we got to get him out there. Whether it's on all, there's some kids that we have to get out there. And we got some kids that just bust their ass to get out there. So, it's just rewarding the hard work. We talk about, when you get older, you go to work, you get paid, you pay your bills and all that stuff. So if you put the work in, we try to get you on the field. And I think we've been doing a good job of. I think we've had 27 kids to start this year. We've had 15 kids to score touchdowns this year. We've had, we've just done, the coaches have just done a good job with that. And it goes back to the kids just being ready to go. Pretty much everybody we put out there is ready to go. We want to do a little better job with our rotations and whatnot, but it just hadn't been an issue to this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the other thing is, okay, so y'all was when y'all played that game, y'all was at the number 4 spot, right? And the teams that was out there that they were saying they could beat y'all was the IB Braves, and they were saying that it was the Lauderhill Lions. So y'all took care of the Lauderhill Lions, and the IB Braves won. So what do you guys feel like? Feel like you guys will be looked as to the masses, on a national level? Do you guys think they would deem you as number 1, or do they? Because I do hear some people saying that you guys beat Lauderhill Lions was a fluke, and that they like their chances if you guys play again and stuff like that. So
that it was a fluke when we beat them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that number 4 ranking is just a receipt for us. Mm-hmm. And we keep our receipts, so we'll leave it at that. If you out there and you seeing us play, believe your eyes. They're as good as they look. So IB Braves, Lauderhill, we're gonna be ready. We're gonna be ready. We're sure that they'll be ready. But I like my 35 against anybody.
So then I had the kids on here, the players on here, the young men, and I brought up some teams. And one of the teams was the Golden Armies that they wanted to play. And the whole thing was they wouldn't be able to play because of some incidents that happened. But when we bring up teams, how can we actually see about making these games happen instead of the kids just wanting to play? These teams that's in high ranking, and that they feel is a competitive game.
For our organization, we're gonna do what's best for us. On the field, off the field. We got a big game with team out of Michigan.
The Chiefs.
Not the Chiefs. The Falcons. But they're coming into town, so that'll be a good game. We're going up to SRT to play Day Nims, so that'll be a good game. There's kids. We've had conversations about going places and people coming here that for whatever reason we couldn't get it done, or it'll all come out in the wash. If Golden Army has an issue with playing something, I'm sure they'll be in nationals, and it'll all come out in the wash.
Cachet says Southfield Falcons.
Southfield Falcons. Well, Southfield Falcons coming. We got on the phone and we made it happen. We're keeping our schedule flexible. We're doing some stuff here in Atlanta, but if someone wants to come to Atlanta to play us, then we can make it happen.
Absolutely. So
we've been to Savannah. We've been to Houston. We're going to Charlotte. We'll go down and play. So we've done a little bit of traveling, and part of the benefit, reaping benefits is that we've put ourselves in a position to maybe not have to run all over the country. Not that we wouldn't do it, but that's part of it. So one thing you're not going to do is talk us into doing something that's not beneficial for our team and our kids.
Right.
But we'll see everybody in Florida at some point. So
yeah. So I guess when you say that, what if the other coaches feel like playing y'all ain't beneficial for them? In the regards that they trying to save our rankings.
I guess you got to do what you feel like you need to do for your organization. But if you're not playing, you don't want to get down to Florida and get a bucket of cold water thrown on you. So you should be keeping your kids lathered up, and you should be playing somebody. And what better thing to do than come and be part of the Big FU show? So.
Yeah, I think, man, I definitely want to see some of them games. That's why I was saying yesterday that I think y'all should be one of the teams that's able to kind of rearrange our whole schedule so y'all can play these teams. Because basically this team actually remind me of the Rare Breeds. And Rare Breed, what they did, anybody that was in the top 3, they end up playing them.
Right.
So I remember at the time it was the Maryland Seahawks. It was I think it was another team from, was it the MD Heats or something like that?
So Lauderhill was 2. Lauderhill was 2. The other Falcons are 7. I didn't rank Creekside. Creekside was 8. So we didn't make that ranking. So there's some other SRT is what, 5 or 6. So those are some top 10 games right there. And we're talking to some teams in the Midwest. So we have a working schedule. So if we see something that makes sense to us and the country wants to see it, we'll try to make it happen.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold you too long. I kind of put myself on the timer because me and you had a very extensive conversation, behind the scenes. And I know we could talk to tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. But if there's anything that you want them to know about the Falcons United that some people may not know, or that's a misconception about the organization.
I think that we've covered a lot of things. It's we're really here for the kids in whatever manner that they need us. If it's on the field, if it's off the field, holistically we believe in helping our kids get to where they want to get. We love what we do. Just like Lauderhill came up there, we're very respectful of what they did to come up here and compete the way that they did. We go back and forth with some, but we're very respectful of what people are doing around the country. But we think at this point that we're doing it at a high level and we're doing it very well. So we look forward to seeing how this thing shakes out down in Florida this year. So it's a lot of times we would be in Florida with East Metro and Tucker in the same national tournament.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen it. And
you've seen so we're gonna all be getting off of the same bus this time. So y'all can take that for what it's worth.
So hey, also too, for y'all that's in here, I appreciate the ones that actually subscribed to the page last night. If you guys that are not subscribed to the page can subscribe, like I said, we looking to build a community. And the only way we can do that if you guys like the page, which goes out in algorithm, and then if you guys can subscribe, that will help out tremendously. And then it show me, how much you appreciate what I do, as I try to give the young players a platform so they can speak and express themselves and have some public experience, speaking out in the public, and that will only enhance and help them for the future for when they're looking to get sponsorships. So when they're looking to get sponsorships, when they're looking to get endorsements, that will only help them. And like I said, the main and most important part is that if they need exposure while we're building a community, they're also welcome to come on here to, to display themselves, and to show why and explain why they should be on a national scale. So this is solely for you guys. And, and I just want you guys to subscribe to the page, if you accept my invitation. If not, I appreciate you guys being on the platform anyway. But also, I'd like to thank you for coming on too, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
I didn't mean to brush you off the first time.
What happened? What happened the first time?
The first time you said I'm too Hollywood. I was like, you're like, man, I'm too Hollywood for that. I was like, all right, Coach. What happened, man? It was just a conflict of interest, as far as or of time, actually. What I was trying to do, basically, I wouldn't have been able to get you on. So, but like I say, it worked. It happened when it's supposed to.
Yeah. So, I'd like to challenge everybody out there to get 5 people to like, comment, and subscribe to Ken's channel. I'd like to thank you for having me on. And just continue to do what you do. It's a good platform for the kids. It's another issue of, being in front of the media. I talk to Hayes about that sometimes. You get used to it because that's where you're going to be. Mm-hmm. So we just want to take our hats off to you and say thank you for providing the opportunity for me to be here tonight and for our kids in general.
Thank you. You're welcome. And like I say, for those who has an issue speaking publicly, I will say this, and hopefully this will help you. I was actually nervous before doing this, and some gentleman encouraged me to get in front of the platform. Get in front of the camera and and speak. So as I'm doing it, I'm actually embracing it. I'm welcoming it, and I'm actually enjoying it because of you guys that's willing to come on and and share the experience with me. So man, again, I like to thank y'all. I can't thank y'all enough because only any platform can run and operate with support. So that's why I'm asking for y'all support. So, but yeah, man.
My last thing, and then I'm gonna get out of here is big F you, all goats, we the biggest. Thank you, Ken.
And go road.
Go road, no doubt.
Go road. All right, but yeah, man. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
All right.